Hello. And welcome to the second time I've had to restart this video because people keep driving by me looking at me suspiciously. I guess you're not allowed to sit in your car anymore, guys. That's not a thing. You can't you never see videos of people legitimately making TikTok videos or whatever the kids are doing these days. So yeah, hi. It's been a long time. And in all honesty, I wanted to do this review the night I saw the movie. The only reason I didn't was because it was late. I work 2 jobs. I have very little free time off. And any time that I actually do have off is oh, it's 9. Let me go to a movie at 10. And then get out at midnight and proceed to wake up in 4 hours, so I don't really have the kind of time. That's the lack of streaming. That's more due to the internet being a piece of garbage, but that's neither here nor there. So anyways, Bambi, Your Reckoning. I remember very specifically saying when I saw the Peter Pan movie back in January that there was a very serious kind of tone to it, and I didn't remember if the Winnie the Pooh movies had that. And I'm thinking about it, and it's more to do with the fact that the props in Winnie the Pooh just looked like garbage. They were rubbery mask, silliness. And the second one, they made it a little more serious, so that's still the tone we're going to be sticking with in this one, as I think it's the same director, I'm pretty sure. I should have done some research outside of remembering characters' names before I did this, but admittedly I saw it about 2 weeks ago, so my chronological timeline of the movie itself might be pretty off. I think I said that last time for Peter Pan, and then it was oddly detailed the more I went into it. So, alright, so the movie, I didn't read anything about it going into it. I'd seen maybe a picture, and I was okay, whatever. I forgot that came out, and I just went to see it opening night. Surprisingly full theater, by the way, which was pretty cool. Anyways, so Bambi begins, as Bambi does, as a weird kind of dark cartoon version, plays across the screen depicting Bambi's origin story. Pretty much all the same except for the toxic chemicals that a corporation of, I can't remember the fucking name of it, some evil corporation is dumping toxic waste into a lake. Sorry if I keep looking around, it's legitimately because I'm in a parking lot where people are exiting buildings. So anyways, I'm looking out for Bambi, guys. I'm looking out. See, that's what I would do if I was more professional. So Bambi drinks from this toxic lake or whatever, and the cartoon shows him kind of mutate. And the movie begins proper. There's some lesson about grief and the cycle of life, and it's not the circle of life. You can't get away with that, but something about rebirth and all that shit, and how people are evil and animals deserve revenge. I don't know. I'm just talking shit now. It's not bad. I'm just being silly. So anyways, the story begins with our main characters. I believe the mother's name is Zena. I think when I was writing my notes in the theater, I wrote Xena with an A, which didn't make sense after I left the theater. And Benji, her son, they're at a train station. It's pretty much just here's the plot, and this is it. So Tyler, Benji's father, and the mom, Zena. I'm gonna fuck that up so many times. So I'm also not even sure I'm saying her name right. We're gonna roll with it because I'm very professional. So they are leaving. They're waiting for a taxi or something to take them to Tyler's, the dad's, family house for the weekend. It was supposed to be this family getaway thing, where they were all meeting. And it's later kind of revealed that the only reason these people came was because they either we're trying to be there for Tyler, like, you know, put on this illusion of like we haven't seen him in forever. I don't know if that was the case. I can't really remember, but either way, there was some reason like some of the family was a little hostile about them like being there and then Tyler not being there. Anyways, so Zaina and Tyler have this really heated argument on the phone. The son is like a typical like, you know, 8-9-year-old. He's just like got his stupid headphones on. He's like, I'm gaming. And he's like kind of hearing this conversation with the family or the parents over the phone. And the mom gets really mad. She's like, you promised you would come. He's like, no, work thing came up, whatever. They start fighting. There's like some commentation afterwards where Zaina starts the first of many instances of lying to her child about where the dad is or like what he's doing and like their relationship being strained. Obviously, like, she wouldn't just be like, yeah, we're getting divorced or whatever. I don't even think they really talk about getting divorced. They just fight a lot, and the kid's like, you're getting deported, and that's like what I guess he thinks divorce is. And so the mom's like, no, that's not happening. Don't worry about it. We're good. Your dad's on his way. He's just coming later. So the kid's really excited about this, obviously. Benji, little Benji. I'm probably going to call him Bambi at some point because the names are very similar for some reason. I don't really remember Bambi, the animated movie from like my childhood, as I really think I only probably watched it like one time ever. So it's not it wasn't like, again, it wasn't one of those movies that I was like super attached to or anything, or like really recall, other than like Thumper and like the skunk, whose name I don't remember the skunk's name. She was like cute or something. I don't know. Is it a boy? I don't even know. I don't remember. That's how much I know about Bambi. Were there songs in Bambi? I don't know. Anyways, so Zaina and Benji like get a cab and they're driving out to this like, I guess like farm road house kind of type vibe, and the cab driver's being really chatty. She's like talking and asking the mom or whatever. She's just asking questions. Also, notably, Zaina tells Benji, like, hey, don't play your game in the car because you're going to get sick. Predictably, this happens. Kid gets sick. They pull over as they're, like, on the side of the road, and the kid's throwing up and drinking some water or whatever. I can't remember if, like, they see Bambi at this point. Something happens. They get back in the car and they fucking leave. Whatever. We're just going to make it up. I don't care anymore. Events occur. Meanwhile, we get our first look at this trio of like mercenary types that are like out in the woods. They kind of don't really explain who any of these people are at all. It's just kind of like this scene where 3 guys are like in the woods and this guy's like trying to shoot a gun and they're like, you have a shot the duck. Oh, it's some like real Australian dude. I can't do an Australian accent. That was terrible. But the only thing I remember about him is he calls Bambi the creature. And it's really fucking funny. Dude, it's just funny. Anyways, I guess he is a creature. So the 3 people, they're like teaching the newest recruit. I guess he's supposed to be like this green type merc. He's like learning how to fire a gun or something, and they're shooting like pigeons or something in the woods against the trees. And then that's it. That's really the first glimpse you get of them. They don't really like explain who these people are. I don't even know their fucking names, so that should tell you all you need to know about them. They're just gonna be referred to as the trio of mercenaries, and then the one Australian dude that is like kind of the main. I don't even know if I would call him the main antagonist. I guess he's like the worst one out of them. Like he does some fucked up shit in a minute. In a little bit. But anyways, so the movie progresses. They're fucking driving or whatever in the taxi. And then like I want to say the taxi, like they hit Bambi or they hit something in the road that they don't really see what it is, and the car like proceeds to like roll down a hill and fucking damage it all up. It's like a cliff that they hit, and it's a, and then they're all fine. The car's like upside down and shit. Okay, fucking weirdo creeper car back there. I don't know what he's doing. It's like, what am I having a video? I'm gonna drive real slow. So anyways, fucking they're all okay. They're just upside down. The driver like can't get out. He's like pinned somehow or something. I think like Zeta and Benji are just like fine. They like get it like, you know, out of their restraints. As Bambi starts like swishing on the car with his hooves, he's like, and he's swishing the front of the car, and so the driver's like progressively getting more fucked up. Like, I don't even know what part of the car is supposed to be like the headliner part, or like the top of the car is like broken in, so it's like hitting on his face. They don't really show too much of it. I was kind of surprised at I guess the lack of gore compared to, and that's not to say this movie isn't gory, but compared to you know, the Peter Pan movie where there was just like 5 minutes into the movie a woman's scalp is being ripped off her head. Like, this is very tame in comparison. So anyways, Zaina and fucking Benji, they escape. She tells Benji to like close her eyes. So he doesn't like see the taxi driver like get killed or smushed. But like based on what you can hear with your ears and like what you saw his position was, like, the mom like lies to him again. She's like, no, I'm sure he's fine, like later on, like when they get to the house or whatever. Also, while this is going on, there's like a establishing shot of this old lady who seems to be like somehow psychologically or otherwise like mentally connected with Bambi, and she's like standing out in like a nightgown in a field, and she's just like, Bambi, and like they don't really explain any of that for a second, so it's just kind of a jarring shot of that happening. As Zaina and Benji are running up, they find the grandma. That's actually Tyler's mom. Just standing in the field. So they're like, get in the house. What's she doing outside? And so they all go in, whatever. And then we meet Tyler's family. I'm not going to talk too much about them. They're not really that important. And a couple of them are just kind of fodder for like deaths. And it's like very obvious that they're meant to be, well, at least one is, I'll get to that, unlikable characters, essentially, or you're not supposed to give a shit if they die anyways. It's like, oh, well, it was deserved, fuck it. So, we meet, fucking, one of the he has, like, brothers. Tyler has brothers, so this Benji kid, he's got uncles. I think he has 3 uncles, he has 3 uncles. And then one of the uncles is married to a woman that's, I guess she's the stepmother of, you know, a cousin. And the cousin is like the annoying boy who's like, hey, you're too cute for school. Yeah, I don't know. That's his whole personality. He's just a piece of shit. It turns out the cousin was supposed to be what, I think his name was like Harrison or something. I don't know what it's something like that. He's just kind of a piece of shit. All these people are British, by the way, in case that wasn't established by their names. I don't know. So the grandma was supposed to be being watched by the cousin who like doesn't give a fuck. He's just like on his phone gaming or whatever. And he's like, whatever, she's stupid. She's crazy. And like the grandma admittedly at this point, like, established she is kind of crazy. Like, all she's done is like stand out in a field and just say Bambi, and like we're to assume that she has some kind of psychic link with the deer. It's never really explained, unless I missed it or don't remember. It's never really explained like why there's any of this going on. Like, was she related to the people, like her parents killed Bambi or some shit? They have like a deer in their bathroom at some point that's used as like a jump scare thing. But they never directly like say anything, and then later on in the movie, it's not like the grandma is like safe because she's like a dog. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't ever go anywhere, and like it's one of those things that like much with Peter Pan, I was like, well, it would have been cool if they did this. They just like don't do anything with that unless I missed something. And when I get to the ending, like, it makes even less sense because, like, Bambi and her are kind of, like, symbiotic in some weird way. But they don't really touch on any of that, like I said, unless I missed it. And I did not leave the theater at all, so I don't think I missed it. Anyways, so these characters being vaguely established, one of the uncles goes out. He's like, oh, there's a guy out there in the woods. Like, where'd you guys come from? Blah, blah, blah. They end up going, or he ends up going out, like, by himself, which I think they're like, don't do that. It's nighttime, like, crazy person, wait till morning. He's like, no, if he's out there and he's hurt, you're like, we need to go get him. So he fucking leaves. He's wearing, like, flannel or some shit. That's the only thing I remember about him. In a pretty, you know, packed theater, the jump scare that came from this next scene was pretty funny to me, because it wasn't really even a jump scare. It was just, like, kind of shocking. It happened so fast, but that's how it goes sometimes, I guess. So the guy finds the car, I think he finds the car. He finds the car, I think, and the guy's dead, obviously, because he's dead. He was dead when they left. I don't know why, like, the wife, you know, Zaina, wouldn't have fucking just said, like, yeah, there's a guy in the woods. He's fucking dead. Like, don't tell Benji. And Benji's, like, right there, I guess. I don't know. So he finds the shit. He tries to go back to leave. The mercenaries are walking through the woods. They find the car too, and then they accidentally, the guy who was just learning how to shoot fires his gun and ends up, like, getting him, and so he fucking dies. The uncle dies. Now the mercenaries find the guy. They find the uncle, and they just kind of are like, we gotta clean this up, and they take him. And they don't really clean anything up. They just, like, leave the blood and shit there. That maybe for, like, they just had the foresight to do that. I don't know, because it comes into play later, I think. Anyways, Uncle never comes back. People are like, I guess at this point there's another time where, like, the mom lies and she's like, oh, Dad'll be here, Dad'll be here. At some point, like, Bambi, like, just comes to the house. I don't remember. I think this is the correct order of events. Bambi just, like, comes to the house, and the grandma's, like, sitting in the room and the, you know, Benji and Harrington Ford, or whatever the fuck his name is. He's not even Harrison. I think it is Harrison. Jesus Christ, that's the name. That's so stupid. So they're, like, in the room with the grandma. I think the mom is, like, downstairs with, like, the stepmom of the fucking piece of shit kid. They're just talking about how Tyler, the husband, is, like, not coming, and, you know, he had some work thing come up, and the stepmom's kind of like, oh, well, like, that's the only reason that these guys are even here, is to, like, see him, so they're gonna be pretty pissed. Anyways, fucking grandma gets her Benji powers and, like, starts, like, she's, like, standing by a window. Oh, she's also drawing Bambi, like, really aggressively, like, this, like, demonic, like scribble scrabble Bambi. There's also these, like, Bambi paintings or pictures that I guess she's, like, scribble scrabbled that they hung up for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I think they talk about it, but I didn't care. So then so she stands up, she stops her drawing, she stands up and she's like, Bambi. And then Harry's, I'm never gonna get his fucking name, the fucking piece of shit snot-nosed kid, he's like, stop being crazy or something to the grandma. And I think the kid's getting yelled at to, like, go downstairs or some shit. So she's like, get off your tablet or phone or whatever. And he ends up leaving, and then it's just Benji and the grandma in the room. Meanwhile, like, the grandma's looking at all this shit on the fucking out the window, and it's like these flickering lights, and you think it's gonna be this jump scare where it's just like, ah, Bambi's face, like, appears, but it's like a hoof instead. They, like, subvert your expectations. At this point, the kid runs downstairs. I don't even remember if, like, the grandma just stays there. Benji, like, runs away, though, to, like, find his mom. Bambi starts breaking into the house. Bambi can open doors. I needed everybody to know that. That's one of the... That was in my notes to make sure that I highlighted at that point. That Bambi can, like, use his, like, hoof to, like, open doors, and he only does it like once. Otherwise, he just kind of rams his body into things and gets in. Which I don't understand why he would open doors if he could just like powerhouse his way through doorways. But here we are. So he breaks into the house. He doesn't really like do anything. They all like kind of scatter. They like get in like this camper RV thing. They're like waiting for the stepmom. Stepmom gets killed. She gets like run through by Bambi, and he like throws the top part of her into the yard as she's like coming around the corner. It's a very stupid scene. So they fucking leave in the RV. Now, here's where I need to start describing what Bambi looks like to you, because I totally didn't do it, and now is where you're gonna like, this is where, you know, the viewer sees Bambi for like a good long period of time. So Bambi's obviously some CG amalgamation deer creature. The best way I can describe Bambi is, if you haven't seen the like photos of like what he actually looks like, he looks like a like almost undead, like Toxic Avenger deer that's just all white, and he's pretty much just a normal deer outside of like looking like he's fucking radiated or something. He's not, but like I guess the chemicals just fucked him up, and I don't know. That's pretty much the best way I can describe him. He didn't like, he got bigger, but he didn't get like powers or anything like that. He's just like a big, creepy, undead deer looking thing. So, that being said, Bambi can run, I guess, I don't know how fast deer are, even though like I grew up around them all the time. I think that they're pretty fast, but I don't think that they can like outrun a car. And Bambi's gonna do this only a couple times. Once the car gets up to like 40 miles an hour, Bambi just kind of stops chasing them. But then there's like a tree in the road, which I don't know if the mercenary people like did that or what. Like, there's just like a felled tree that's like blocking their path, and they get all happy. They're like, oh, we got away from Bambi. Fuck him. Fuck that deer. What was that? Like, they have like the most delayed reaction to like everything. I don't really know why, because I don't think that I would like run like drive a car like super fast, just like Fast and Furious bullshit away from a fucking deer creature, and then be like, what was that? Like, way the fuck later. I would, you know, I don't know. These people are weird. I mean, they're not smart characters to begin with. I will say, there's a scene, okay, this is what I was referencing. There's a scene where I guess the mercenary people like realize that it's Bambi doing this. They're like, it's the creature. And then nobody else really says anything about it. They're like, it's implied that they've been looking for Bambi for like some time or whatever. We'll get there. But anyways, this review's already way the fuck longer than I thought it was going to be. So, fucking A. So, they go to the house. They find the house. I don't remember how they find the house. Maybe, like, they have the one of the uncles, like, dead in their truck, and they're just driving around. They find the house. They find the dead, stepmother, or whatever, of the shitty kid, and she's, like, somehow still alive. I don't really know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. She's, like, torn in half, and, like, this is, like, later, I think. It's supposed to be, like, after they leave and shit. So I don't really understand why it, like, I want to say it was nighttime this whole time anyways, but it's like, implied that it's later. So, the Australian dude, like, sees that this chick is still alive, and I was thinking, like, oh, he's gonna kill her because, you know, witnesses. But then he gets all creepy about it, and he's like, and, like, doing shit, and then he just, like, stabs her in the face. And so, she's dead for real now, I guess. She died part 2. So anyways, the group concocts a plan to essentially tie what appears to be like a rope that they just have around the bumper of the trailer, or the RV thing that they're driving, and then like drag the log out of the way or whatever. So one of the uncles and the nephew, or the cousin kid, the one that I can't remember his fucking name and say wrong every time when I try, They are like waiting outside. Well, Bambi comes back like faster, I guess, than they were anticipating. I don't know. Bambi like went off somewhere at some point. I don't know what he was doing. He just fucked off for a little bit, I guess. I don't remember. You know, then we'll just call it what it is. So during this time of Bambi coming back, the kid like runs into the woods or some shit because he sees his dad get dragged away by the rope that they were gonna tie around the tree. I don't know how this happens, by the way. Like, they moved the tree, I guess, and then the rope is just small enough to like hook onto his ankle, and he gets dragged and he dies. Now they don't hear him because Benji is driving the vehicle at this point. I realize that I said that there were 3 brothers or 3 uncles in this scenario. I, for the life of me, cannot remember what happens to the second person. So, one person got shot in the woods. Second person, question marks. Third person, maybe no, I don't think he's still around at that point. Because it's just the grandma and the kid and the fucking mom in the car. So, I don't know. Make up your own death for him. I don't know what the fuck happened. I feel like I should remember, but anyways, so third guy gets dragged by a car. There you go, thought finished. So anyways, at some point, for some fucking reason, with the kid driving, he's driving fast enough, this like wonky ass RV, to like outrun Bambi, and Bambi just like gives up and fucks off into the woods again. Yeah, I quit. And then he just fucking finds the Harrison kid or whatever his name is. Now, Harrison is a piece of shit. And so, in case the movie hadn't already established that by him like yelling at his grandma, yelling at his stepmom, being like, yeah, my real mom. Like, in case that hadn't already been established, the movie decides to do this really stupid thing. I was very upset by him. Because he almost dies. Bambi almost kills him. But then he like falls face first in like, I guess it's his dad. I don't know which connection was there between the brothers and the stepmom. But anyways, he falls like face first into the blood and gross or something. And he's like all like, ugh, and then he has to be quiet because Bambi's like smelling up on him. Bambi gets distracted by another sound somewhere else, which I think is the mercenary types. I don't remember. He gets distracted by some noise. He's a fucking dumb deer. I don't know. So he so he fucks off, and Harrison like goes into the woods further. He's like crying and like wiping his face. He's all dirty. And then he sees a cute little bunny, and he's like, I'm like, oh shit, Thumper's gonna like crush somebody with his big paw or something. Like, it's gonna be silly and dumb. None of that shit happens. They're just like cannibal rabbits or some shit. I don't know. I guess they drink the water too. Fuck it. So it's like this cute bunny at first. Jumps up on a little stump, and he's like just looking at him, and the bunny starts getting closer, and Harrison like kicks the bunny, and then all the other bunnies come up, and they're like gross looking, and they all eat him. Also, he walks backwards into a bear trap and gets his face like stuck in the back of it. Kind of like the Corey, but not as cool or graphic. Anyways, he gets eaten by bunnies and by Harrison. I didn't give a shit about him. Anyways, at this point, they don't see Bambi anymore. So I guess the RV trio of Grandma, who's still like, she's like freaking out about Bambi again while all this is going on. Like, every time Bambi's killing people, just imagine Grandma's like, oh, Bambi, why? But she doesn't really say any of that shit. She's just like, she seems troubled. She's like mad that Bambi's killing people, or is like trying to convey that, but she's kind of just speaking gibberish and not talking to anybody in any kind of real way. She also keeps calling Benji Tyler, and Benji's like kind of mad about that. And then, you know, all the conflicts with the lying are about to come to a head with the mom. Because they get out of the RV, they stop driving because they're like, oh, nothing's following us. And the mom discovers that the uncle was dragged, and he's all gross and like road rash, dead face, whatever. And then Benji gets out of the car, and she's like, I told you to stay in the car. And then, like, he clearly, like, can see, that, like, his uncle's fucking dead, but I guess, like, for some reason, he doesn't really acknowledge this until he, like, hears about it directly, like, in a little bit, like, when they're getting to where they're going. It doesn't make sense to me because, like, if I was driving really fast and then was like, oh shit, there's my uncle, I'd be like, yeah, he's fucking dead. Like, I killed him. You know, whatever. They don't do anything with that. At least not yet, I guess. I don't know. They really don't do anything with it at all. Now that I'm thinking about it, they don't do shit with it. So fuck it, I guess. At this point, Grandma gets out of the car because I guess Benji was supposed to be watching her. Everybody just lets Grandma do whatever the fuck she wants, I guess. I don't really know why. Oh, so it's so stupid. Grandma gets out of the car. She wanders off a little ways into the woods. They like light a, I think it's like a flare or like a what? Yeah, it's one of those like road flare things. They light it, and Grandma's like talking about something. She's like death, blah blah. And they like light a flare, and then there's just like dead bodies everywhere, and then nothing really comes of that either. They just kind of get back in the car after a moment of being shocked about it, and then I don't remember if they drive away or the mercenaries find them or what happens at this point, but the groups convene at some point. I don't remember how, but they end up meeting. At this point, it is revealed that Tyler is their leader. He's like the mercenary captain of chemical dumping necessities and shit. And it's revealed that apparently they already knew that all this shit was going on, like with the toxic animals or whatever. These people were pretty much hired to, like, you know, fix the shit and like clean up after themselves, or they're getting paid a lot of money to dump these chemicals or something to that degree. They're slimy people. So, Tyler's dad, Tyler, and Zaina start fighting about Benji being there and about it being dangerous and how, like, Tyler was trying to tell them, like, hey, don't come up, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, your family's dead. And, like, Benji can hear them. Like, he's in the other room. It'd be the equivalent of me having a, like, loud argument with somebody in the front seat of my car, and we were trying to keep it from the person in the back. Like, it's the same shit. It's really stupid. So they essentially get into a fight. Benji, like, runs outside. He's, like, crying. He's really sad because his family's falling apart. And then I think Bambi comes. Oh, no. He sees, like, the mercenary types, like, trying to get a fawn, like, out. Or they have it in, like, a cage, and it's like, you know, it's making, like, little cute deer noises. Deers don't make cute noises, by the way. Maybe the babies do. I don't know. I've pet many of them. They didn't really make a noise, I guess. So, anyways, fucking Benji starts following them. Bambi, like, comes into the house. I think he kills some people. He kills, like, two of the mercs that were, like, disposable anyways. So I think it's, or one of them. He kills the guy who was trigger happy. He just kind of, like, knocks his head off, and then the other guys run away or some shit. It's really dumb. Like I said, the violence is very, like, toned down from, like, previous movies, I guess. So, anyways, Bambi gets into the house, and, like, I don't even remember, like, why, but it's not even like it's like a safe house kind of setup. But they get, Bambi gets in and, like, is gonna kill the grandma for some reason. And, like, this is where I was confused. Because I was like, okay, Bambi, like, had this connection with the grandma. He's gonna, like, sense that it's, you know, somebody related. I don't know if that would make him more merciful. I genuinely thought that Bambi was killing, like, this whole family. And just the family. But that wouldn't even make sense because the first person he killed was not part of the family. Anyways, it just kills whoever. He's very, like, you know, indiscriminatory killing going on. I thought that it was going to be like, oh, he's killing the family because they killed his family. I don't fucking know. None of that's the case. If you wanted that to be the movie, it's fucking not. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So, it would make too much sense, so we can't have that. So anyways, Bambi like goes up to the grandma, and it's like the scene that I think they showed it in the trailers where Bambi's like snarling and at the grandma, but then he hears Bambi gets distracted way too. Bambi's like fucking ADHD. I don't even know. He's just a fucking dumb deer. He's like, oh, a sound, and he doesn't even do anything to the grandma. Grandma's still just sitting there, by the way. I don't know. She's like on a couch. She's just chilling. And then, so Bambi gets distracted by some other lady in another room who decides that she's going to do some heroic blaze of glory bullshit. She was, like, manning the cameras for a while, but then, like, that was the only time you saw her, really. She was, like, Operation Guide Personnel or whatever. But that's how you found out, like, the mom found out about everything going on. There's a scene where, like, the Australian dude was, like, took her phone and like didn't want her to call 911 or whatever. And yeah, it's just revealed Tyler's a piece of shit. He doesn't care about his family like at all. He's like, oh yeah, I don't give a shit, like this is more important to me. And I don't really know why, but that's, I guess, just to establish, you know, POS, whatever, doesn't matter. He's just a jerk, doesn't care. So anyways, the lady, like, she was like manning the cameras or whatever. Bambi comes after her. He like breaks open a door with his head and shit. He's like, "Rah," and he's approaching. And then the lady just like shoots something and it explodes and the house explodes as like Zaina and Tyler escape to try to go find Benji. I think they saw him on a camera or some shit. They think he's out there. I don't know. I think they saw him. Oh yeah, because he's at the place where they were dropping the fawn off. The other mercenary guy goes to take a piss, and he dies, and then that's pretty much it. And so the guy was waiting, the Australian dude's like waiting for him to come back. Eventually he wanders off, and then Benji like runs up to the fawn and starts trying to release it. It's also like, they're also just mean to the fawn the whole time in the cage. They're like kicking it and talking shit to it, because, you know, that's what you do to baby deer. You just treat them like garbage, I guess. If you're a decent person, you're nice to animals, and then they don't kill you, question mark, is the moral of the story? I don't really know. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. So anyways, we're wrapping up now. Benji has the fawn. Fucking stupid. I think at some point, Tyler, like, runs away like a fucking pussy. He just, like, runs off because he sees Bambi or something. I don't know. He fucking just leaves. He's like, fuck it, I get all the money now. But yeah, so, and the mom's like, you don't even care about your family. You don't care about your son. He's like, nope, peace. And he just fucking leaves. It's a little more serious than that, but, I gotta get out of this parking lot. So Bambi like approaches them. They're holding the fawn. The mom like has this realization for some fucking reason that like Bambi wants the fawn. I don't really know why. Bambi's a boy deer. He's a buck, and you know, I don't even know if it's his baby. It's just a random fawn that they have. I think it was supposed to lure him out, but they don't really explain why. It's not Bambi's mom, it's just Bambi's dad, I guess. Or it's like a random baby deer. They just found it, and then they like are like, oh, Bambi wants the fawn. They don't really, it doesn't make any sense. So as this is going on, they back up. Bambi's like all sweet with the fawn, like nuzzling the nose against his like fucking little skeletal nose. And the fawn seems happy. And then Bambi gets shot by the Australian mercenary type guy. And he's like, fuck you! And he shoots Bambi, and Bambi starts to die. And, well, he goes down. He doesn't start to die yet. That's a whole other scene. So as this is going on, the guy is starting to approach. He's got a gun. He's like, I'm gonna kill the people now too, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets shot because Grandma shot him. Now, I don't understand if we're supposed to be like, oh, well, Bambi died, so the connection with Bambi is gone, and now she's like just fully sentient. She's like all there. Everything just comes back. Like Bambi had a curse on her. I don't know. None of it makes any fucking sense. I'm gonna stop trying to make sense of it. I'm just doing the job of people that make a lot more money than me. So, so all the mercenaries are dead. You know, Tyler gets in the car to like try to get away, and then he gets eaten by a bunny that's just in his car. That's it. Everybody's dead except the mom, the grandma, and the son. And the fawn. I guess the fawn counts. Bambi dies, and as the small family of matriarchal values wanders back, Bambi dies, and the fawn lets out a sad cry, and then the movie ends. With some lesson, I can't remember, some narration. Some British woman talks for a minute, and then the movie ends. Yeah, that's the longest that I wanted to talk about Bambi, so I hope that for somebody that was mildly entertaining, because I want to just be home now, but, you know, that was Bambi the Reckoning. Are they going to make a sequel? I hope not. I don't know how they would, but also there was no skunk character, like I mentioned earlier. I wanted to see a scary skunk. I was very disappointed. But overall, all shit aside, I actually really didn't hate the movie. I thought it was really well done. The kid that played Benji was like surprisingly a really good actor in the serious parts where he was like crying and like, you know, emotionally affected by his family drama and shit. So yeah, I didn't hate the movie. I actually thought it was pretty decent. And maybe that's why I didn't have a review like that day, because I was like, I gotta think on this. Did I like the movie? And I was like, kind of did. Okay. And then I just didn't think about it for a while. But I keep saying I was gonna do it, so I'm tired of not doing it. I gotta get back into the habit of doing that with everything else, so, you know.